Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to those here at KLS. Shabbat Shalom to those who've joined us online. Just a few words about the theme that we're going to follow tonight. This Shabbat, our annual cycle of Torah readings begins a new book, the Book of Numbers. And the first portion of the Book of Numbers is called, as is the whole book in fact, Bamidbar, in the wilderness. Well, the Torah text is actually largely concerned with Moses taking a census of the Israelites. Arguably, a census is not simply a counting exercise conducted for its own sake. It's also an audit of the community. What is the community's current state of health? What is its capacity to progress? And our own KLS, our own annual census is fast approaching. Our AGM, together with the annual report, will be with us on Sunday the 19th of June, where we will think, what is our current state of health? And what, as a community, is our capacity to progress? Well, important though a census in that sense might be, the themed readings in our prayer book, in our Siddur for this week, focus on something else, inspired by the same portion, Bamidbar. Noting that this Torah portion is called in English, in the wilderness, the Siddur readings choose loneliness as one aspect of being disconnected from your familiar or your normal environment. And so Rebecca and I have taken this idea of disconnectedness as the starting point for planning the choir's contribution tonight. And Rebecca will tell you more.
Thank you, Vince. Shabbat Shalom to everybody here tonight in the sanctuary. Shabbat Shalom to people online. It's really lovely to be here tonight in another Choral Erev service. And we have a special guest with us, a musician, an oboe player, Leslie Viney, one of our special members of the community, who will light the candles in just a moment. In our service tonight, we're going to continue to explore and to enhance our service with music and texts that have their origins in the Ukraine. So what you just heard now was a Ukrainian melody, simply used as a nigun, a folk song. In doing so, I think we really want to express that we're standing like the ancient Israelites and with the displaced people of Ukraine on those shifting sands of the wilderness, faced with the uncertainties and the losses, sharing their bewilderment, and together here tonight drawing strength from community in prayer. Leslie, would you like to come up and light the candles? That would be lovely. Amen. Thanks so much. Thank you. Seymour, would you like to? Continue the service on page 76 with Shalom Aleichem. Helen, would you like to go in front of the others? Just go a bit in front, Fleur also. Move along a bit. There we go, that's lovely.
Malach El Yon.
Shalom, Malachei, Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Lovely. And we continue now on page 89. Yes, I want to sit somewhere else. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. עלי עשור ועלי הנבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. Continuing with, your deeds fill me with gladness, your work moves me to song. How great are your works, eternal God, how very deep your thoughts. The righteous shall flourish like the palm, grow tall like the cedar of Lebanon. Planted in the house of the Eternal One, they shall flourish in the courts of our God. Altogether, they shall still bear fruit in old age. They shall ever be fresh and green, proclaiming that God is just, my rock, in whom there is no flaw. And reading responsively Psalm 93, the Eternal One reigns in grandeur robed. The world stands firm. Your throne is established from of old.
The oceans roar, eternal God. The thundering oceans roar.
Yet greater than the roaring waves, mightier than the breaking seas.
You stand supreme on high.
Sure are the proofs of your power, O God.
And holiness
Adorns your house forever. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabala. Shamor v'zahor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad, Ushemo echad, L'Shem השם ותפארת ולתחילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי עמכו הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת תקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שתדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Please stand if the choir would like to come up onto the bema.
to dawn, rolling to night. Night becomes day, day turns to night. For they are light, for they all in the ocean, for they all in the ocean, from oceans with they all. Rolling to dawn, rolling to light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
Please be seated. We're on page 93, and we can read together at the top of page 93. We praise you, eternal one our God, sovereign of the universe, whose word brings on the evening, whose wisdom opens heaven's gates, whose understanding changes times and seasons, and whose will sets the sun and courses in the sky. You make day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light. You make day pass and bring on the night, and separate day from night. You rule the hosts of heaven. We praise you, O God, whose word makes evening fall.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקך, ונשמח בדברי כל תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי חיים חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסור ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך ובביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו הלטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לגדוליכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Continuing all together to read. All this we want to be true and sure. You have freed us from oppressors and delivered us from tyrants. You led us out of Egypt forever to serve you. when we witnessed your power, we praised your name and gave thanks. Willingly we accepted your rule, then full of joy we sang.
Be seated.
And then full of joy we sang together. Okay. And to me, we'd like to ask the choir to come up again, please. And we're on page 96, please. Oh, I need the starting notes, don't I?
Let's read that prayer together on page 96. Grant, eternal God, that we may lie down in peace, and let us rise up to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your wise counsel, and for your name's sake be our help. Shield us from sickness and war, from famine and distress, and keep us from wrongdoing. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you are our guardian and deliverer, a gracious and merciful God. God, our going out and our
coming in, that now and always we have life and peace. We praise you, O God.
May shelter and peace
descend on us. and all who dwell on earth. Please stand. We're on the top of page 97. Adonai, Sefer Ufia, Eternal God, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu b'moteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagidol, Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocheh Hasdei Avot V'imachot, U'mavid Gula Lifnei V'nehem, L'man Shemo V'ahava, Melech Ozeh U'moshir U'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'elam Adonai, V'chayei metim, Atah rav להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוביל הגשם, מצריח השמש ומוביל החם. מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך רופאים ורופא חולים, ומציל אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מזרחו ברחב ורוחות, ומדום אליו, מלך מניף ומתראה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה המתים.
You are holy, awesome is your name. We have no God but you. We praise you, eternal one, the holy God. You may sit. Let's read together from the bottom of page 98. We thank you, O God, for this Sabbath day, which calls us to a closer communion with you. Though you are near to us at all times, you reveal your presence most clearly when we direct our thoughts towards you in worship and meditation. You, O God, are humanity's exalted. You are God, you and its greatness, its power, its beauty. Establish in us, we humbly pray, a devotion to you that shall be firm in all the circumstances of life. May this service renew in our hearts the sense of your presence and bring us peace.
Come round to the piano, that's great. And continuing on the top of page 100. Is that good? Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu v'tzei b'mnuchat. It's not a good key for you. I'll do the first part and then you take over, okay? Let's do it half chetzi chetzi. We thought we might do it as a duet, but it's not. Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu v'tzei b'mnuchatenu קדשנו במצוותיך ותן חלקנו בתורתך סבנו מטובך ושמחנו בישועתך ותהה ליבנו לעבדך באמת
Achilenu Adonai Eloheinu Ba'u Ratso
Shabbat Kodshecha Vayinuchu Vayisrael Makadeshe Shemecha Baruch Atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Ooh.
praise you, O God, whom alone we worship in reverence. Modim, modim, modim anachnu lach. Modim, modim, modim anachnu lach. We give thanks that you, Eternal One, reading all together. We give thanks that you, Eternal One, are our God, as you were the God of our ancestors. You are the rock of our life, the power that shields us in every age. We thank and praise you for our lives, which are in your hand, for our souls, which are in your keeping, for the signs of your presence we encounter every day, and for your wondrous gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. We praise you, O God, source of goodness, to whom our thanks are due. We continue with the shalom. Try to stand, and the idea again was here. I think I not stand a bit, some big shorts. This is not here right now. Let's make sure. See if we can stand over this.
There'll be a few moments now for you to have your own thoughts, follow the readings in the Siddur, or just think of how the week's been and how you hope the next week's going to be.
May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer.
I think now we're very happy to welcome Rabbi Rene to the Bima. And we will be back with some songs after that.
You.
That's lovely. Thank you, Rene. Thanks so much. Lovely.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Vince. And thank you, the choir, for leading us tonight in prayer, meditation, and music. And I just wanted to say a few words about the choir portion of this Shabbat. Is it? So as Vince said half an hour ago, we are starting a new book, Bemidbar, which means in the wilderness, and in the English translation we don't use the word wilderness, we use the word Numbers, the book of Numbers. It opens with the taking of a census. The chieftains of each tribe are named, and an identical formula is recited each time, concluding with a number of men over the age of 20, fighting men, in each tribe. Indeed, it is not a census of the entire people. Rather, it is an accounting of those who will make up the army to cross the desert, because from now on they will go on lots of tribulations around the desert. The Israelites have just celebrated the first anniversary of their liberation, and they are about to embark on a journey which will last 38 years. Although they do not know at the time of the census. I mean, it's best not to tell them, guys who were there for 38 years. They are forming an army to take the people on what should be a short trip to the Promised Land. That they should form an army to cross the desert is actually not surprising. But we may ask, why the apparent preoccupation with numbers? So in the Bible, very often we have these censuses, the preoccupation with numbers which in a way parallels ours. Numbers lend specificity and veracity to narrative. Whether it is the number of lives lost to COVID, or those who fled Ukraine, numbers are concrete. They give a reader a means of taking hold of a story. Sometimes numbers are so high that you can hardly fathom the magnitude. What does it mean to say that 6 million Ukrainians have fled their country? It represents 15% of the total population of the country, or 2/3 of the population of people living in London. We need comparison to grasp the reality. And of course, for us Jews, these numbers remind us of a terrible chapter of our recent history. Large numbers lend gravity and importance to what is being described. So let us take a deeper look at the numbers in the beginning of the book of Numbers. At the time of Exodus, we read that there were approximately 600,000 men, not including children. And now, after a year in the desert, after the killing of some 3,000 associated with the golden calf episodes, and you know that God can be a bit petulant sometimes and kills, if God is not happy with the Israelites, the numbers still have grown to 603,550 men of fighting age, plus 22,000 Levites, males, over 20 years. Over the age of 1 month. And of course, we point out that these numbers cannot be understood literally. Their specificity is intriguing. The heads of the tribes are mentioned individually by name, and each paragraph concludes with the number of men in each tribe. Within these paragraphs, we are told that the counting was done according to clans and ancestral houses, and then those in the census were counted by name, b'mispar shemot, by the count of their names. Though we are not given here the names of the ancestral houses or of individuals. Finally, we are told the grand total of fighting men among the Israelites. The census of the Levites, carried out separately from the general census, proceeds in similar manner, citing the names of the heads of the clans and the numbers in each clan before enumerating the total number of Levites over the age of 1 month. So what we have here is a juxtaposition of individual and the collective. There is a total number of Israelites, but it is made up of individuals with names, relationships, and histories which are not mentioned at all in the text. The Slonimer Rebbe was a Hasidic master from Belarus. In his commentary on the book of Numbers, said that the total number of Israelites, 603,550 men, is equal to the number of words in the Torah. Just as the Torah is a unity made up of individual words, the people of Israel is a unity made up of individuals. Remove even one word of the Torah and it's incomplete. Remove even one person, Israel cannot receive the Torah. This, he suggests, is why in most years and in this year, Parashat Bamidbar is read on the Shabbat immediately preceding Shavuot. it's technically speaking, it's not really true for this year, but because Shavuot started at the end of Shabbat next week, but I will explain why for us it will be like this. This census is meant to remind us that the act of Kabbalat HaTorah, receiving the Torah that we will mark next week, is an individual one performed collectively in community, or stated differently, a collective act performed by individuals. The fulfillment of the Torah, the Slonimer Rebbe tells us, can only be accomplished when the entire community of Israel acts in unity. And the Kingstoner Rebbe, Rabbi Pfertzel, nobody laughs? Okay, I just wanted to check if you were following me. Notes that this dynamic between the individual and the collective is essential for a community. We are numbers. A community is made up of X number of people, families or unities or single people, etc. But each of them is unique, and in a way or another, each of them transforms by their presence the ethos and atmosphere of the community. You may remember the Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit, taken captive by the Hamas in 2006. Maybe you remember this soldier. He spent 5 years in prison and was released on the 18th of October 2011. For his life, the Hamas demanded and were granted 1,024 Palestinian prisoners to be released. One life for 1,024 prisoners. That reminded me of this famous passage of the Mishnah: whoever destroys a soul, it is considered as he destroyed an entire world, and whoever saves a life, it is considered as he saved an entire universe. When we think about Ukraine, about the 6 million refugees, about the thousands of lives lost on both sides, we use numbers to try to grasp the reality of this tragedy. But behind these bare numbers, there are countless of lives that are destroyed. The lives of the dead, of course, but also the lives of their families, of their friends, of their communities. People like Putin see only numbers. They fail to see the human beings that are behind them. And as the French-American microbiologist once said, each human being is unique, unprecedented, and repeatable. Shabbat Shalom. So before we continue with this wonderful program that you have prepared for us tonight, I just wanted to give a few updates about community life, because we've got many interesting and fascinating things coming up. Next week we have the Queen's Jubilee, the 70 years of the Queen on the throne, and we are having, and you can see everywhere, there's one poster here, but posters outside. We have, on Friday evening, we have a Super Bagel Jubilee evening where we have invited the local communities with, how many leaflets? 250?
350 leaflets were delivered.
350 leaflets were delivered. No. But we may get 50. Yes. So that next Friday between 6 and 8, 6 and... so that will be our contribution to this celebration for the country. So I had a good laugh with my daughter today, because she asked me, what are you doing for the Jubilees? So I explained we're having, the street, etc. And she said, I was thinking of maybe buying a T-shirt with a guillotine and walking in the streets on the Jubilee. I said, I swore an oath to the Queen when I got my passport, so I'm not going to do that. But, it's a cause for celebration. 70 years on the throne, the longest serving monarch of the country. I think it's a cause for celebration. And of course, we have also Shavuot starting at the same time. I don't know, they should have known that, but whatever. So we have tweaked a bit the programs to give you still a weekend, a proper weekend. So Shabbat morning, next Shabbat morning, which is technically speaking the day before Shavuot, we will have a pre-Shavuot service here in the morning. So instead of having a regular Shabbat service, we'll have a Shavuot service, because Sunday, I really doubt that anyone would come on Sunday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You need some time off as well. So Saturday morning, the pre-Shavuot Shabbat service, and Saturday evening, we're having a joint celebration of Shavuot with Finchley Progressive Synagogue. So for us, it will be online, and Rabbi Rebecca Burke will be in her synagogue. So we're trying, and that's a challenge, because when we used to do some work with other communities, when everybody was online, it was easy to do. But now that some people are in the synagogue, some people are online, so it's becoming a bit more complex. So we have prepared something. We'll share the service online, 6:30 on Saturday evening. Then there will be 2 study sessions that I will lead for whoever wants to join. And at 10 o'clock in the evening, we will join a last session with Finchley Progressive. But if you want to go to Finchley Progressive for the sessions, you'll have a program as well. So the sessions I'm proposing for you this year is one which is a question are esotericism and mysticism incompatible with liberal Judaism? I think it's we're trying to explore all these things that are not LJ and yet Jewish. We're doing a Musar class, for example. So there are all these questions we have around what is liberal Judaism now. And of course, the following session will be a session on Jewish theology for 2020, for the 21st century, and the questions we are asking ourselves as rabbis, because we've started at the Rabbinic Conference, a series of Divrei Torah to talk about all these questions, and we really want to involve the communities, because the conception of a Jewish theology is not a reserved matter for rabbis. It's something for people who are interested in these questions, to join and to have this conversation. So tomorrow morning there will be also a different type of Shabbat service, because it's non-Beiteinu today to this Shabbat. So we'll have some prayers and meditation as an opening of the morning, and then there will be a study session which I've asked Rabbi Judith Rosenberry, who gave, I think you were there, I think on Wednesday evening. So Rabbi Judith Rosenberry and Rabbi Charlie Baginski had a fascinating discussion about Jewish thought, and I asked Judith to give me her paper. So I will ask you the questions that she asked to Rabbi Charlie, because I found it very interesting. It's all about asking the questions now and as a movement, because we really need to do this as a movement. Remember, what happened to the Siddur, the Siddur that was prepared, that didn't really took in the movement. So because I think one of the reasons we don't really know where we're going now. We really need to think again, where are we going as a movement? So that, that's our small contribution here at KLS. So tomorrow morning, regular time, 11:15, and please come along. So it will be only on Zoom tomorrow. We won't do, because we'll be in circles, so it's not going to be easy to do on Zoom. And we'll do this in the synagogue. Have I forgotten anything? Book Russia. Oh gosh, yeah. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Next Shabbat, cheesecake competition. And I'm going to use my rabbinic authority. I'm the judge. So I will taste all of them. So next Shabbat, let's have a chavura lunch. Let's bring some food and stay here after the service next week, Shavuot service, and bring cheesecakes and loads of cheesecake.
I'm not trying to now move you over at all, but I thought we would talk with Rebecca, the other Rebecca, about saying something about the 10th of June, the LJ open service,
yes, yeah, absolutely.
Because it's about having people coming in person. Would you like to say something about that?
Thank you, yes. So you know that this year Liberal Judaism is celebrating its 120th anniversary, which is a very important landmark for us. So LJ communities invite other communities to open house Shabbat for services, and we have our first on Friday the 10th of June. Which is in 3 weeks now. So we're going to have a special Erev Shabbat service here from KLS, open to all the LJ communities. So we're hoping to have many people joining online. But maybe they may come here as well.
It would be lovely to have people coming, camera. It'd be lovely to have as many people in the sanctuary as well, to create a lovely atmosphere.
No, it will be 7. Yeah, we'll do it early because we are the synagogue which starts the service the latest in the entire movement. They all start between 6:15 and 7:30. So, okay, have I forgotten anything? The concert.
The concert. I think Rebecca will talk about the concert when she introduces some of the people
Okay.
here tonight.
Okay. Will you survive the evening, or are you going to be all right?
I think so.
Okay.
So far, so
Did you want a tea?
So far, so good. Thank you. Cup of tea.
Yeah.
The end is fine. It's fine.
Do you want?
Should we go for
No.
Rene, should we should we go for a cup of tea?
Let's go for. Bye bye. Okay.
I'm fine. Okay, we now come to a part of the service where we've chosen some songs, and I'd like to first of all ask Jill, Norman, will you just hand these around? These four are wonderful. Asking Norman to sing. A wonderful congregation for our congregation here in person, and also online. I think on this live stream there is a sheet that Rebecca will direct you to. Norman, yeah, fine. It's in the chat. There's a link. Oh, getting there with the link. So what I'm wanting to say is we have no, not for the choir. The choir don't need them, okay? The choir have got their own versions. So we've got 4 songs, and I just want to say that the extraordinary thing to me is that I don't know. We've got 3 of these songs that I've been involved in preparing. They all have a link with Ukraine. Now, one of them is a Ukrainian anthem, admittedly, but the other 2 aren't. And I'd like to just say, we're going to start off with singing the song Kol Ha'olam Kulo. Now, it's a song that many of us have probably sung many times. Kol Ha'olam Kulo, Gesher Tzar Ma'od. The whole world is a narrow bridge. And it's, but looking at it in more detail and looking at the author, who was Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, he was actually born in Poland in 1772, and he died near Kiev in the Russian Empire at that time in 1810. So we have this text, and the melody I know is from an Israeli, but still this text is coming really from the Ukraine, from that, even though at that time it wasn't necessarily called Ukraine. So I just feel we sing these songs, we just think, where are they coming from? And at the moment, everything seems to be very much coming from that part of the world. And this is a Jewish Ukraine. So this is the Jewish Ukraine, some of our roots from there. So we're going to sing that just all together, and I'd like the congregation please to join in with that. You've got the words there. But actually, yeah, okay. I've written in, I think, the translation, the whole world is a narrow bridge, and the essential thing is not to fear klal. You have this word klal, v'ha'ikar lo lefached klal. It's usually interpreted as, don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid, The whole world is a narrow bridge. The important thing is not to be afraid. But actually, this word klal can also be used to mean, don't be afraid of the totality of everything, Don't be overwhelmed by life in a way. And I find that actually a really nice variation on this direction of it's a narrow bridge, don't be afraid, but this don't be afraid of the all, the klal, of the totality, And I suppose we all break it down into bite-sized pieces as much as we can. So maybe get strength from this statement, I think. Again, we come back to this time of real uncertainty that we're all feeling the repercussions from the war. So let's sing that one all together. Have you got any of those there? See, we didn't know. So here we go. Okay, choir start us off.
Yes.
So we've sung the whole world, everything, it's like a narrow bridge. Trying to walk across a narrow bridge, the important thing is to keep your confidence, not start shaking with fear. Being Jewish brings the obligation of always looking to do the right thing, trying to improve the world, continue the work of creation, and trying to find that right path can indeed feel like it's easy to make a false step one side or the other and fall away, or even that it's a bit like running the risk of being lost in the wilderness, not knowing which way to go, how to do the right thing. The next song says, you shouldn't think you're on your own. It's not your job to finish this work all by yourself. You've got people with you. You've got your community. You can't abandon the task, but you don't have to do it all by yourself. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor. Who knows this song? Right, if you've just put your hand up, please join me on the beamer now. No hesitation. Come. Start.
Yeah? Oh. Okay, great. So we're kind of, keeping our strength going. And I think now the next one you have you'll find on your sheet is this Ukrainian anthem. Oi uluzi chervona kalina. It's time KLS starts learning its Ukrainian. In preparation for the concert on the 9th of July. And I have to say, to my own amazement, and maybe the choir will agree with me, we've actually found it's not such, an impossible language, transliterated, of course. And we have our Cyrillic expert, Fleur Standring, helps us out when we feel a little bit stuck with pronunciation. So you have on your sheet there, Oi uluzi chervona kalina. Oh, the red viburnum in the meadow. This song is actually originally a 1914 anthem that was burst onto the world music stage since the Russian invasion of Ukraine due to its song's association with the Ukrainian people's aspiration for independence. So if you put this into YouTube, you're going to be able to hear lots and lots of different versions of this, and it's well worth doing, actually. I think. Singing the song was actually banned during the period in which Ukraine was a Soviet republic, so between 1919 and 1991. Nevertheless, it was sung by Ukrainian patriots with defiance, and anyone caught singing it was jailed, beaten, and even exiled. So the thing here is going to be getting to pronounce some of the Ukrainian. But I think what's important is that this song is basically about a flower, the red kalina. And the image is that the O in the meadow, a red kalina is bent down low. For some reason, our glorious Ukraine is in sorrow. And in the chorus, we say, we'll take that red kalina, we'll raise it up. We'll raise it up, and we shall cheer up our glorious Ukraine. Very patriotic, very much about being downtrodden and rising up in resistance. I thought what we were going to do, the choir, if you'd like to come up onto the bema, we're going to sing this first verse, and we'd like to encourage you to join in with the chorus, which if you look at the chorus words, And we've got, again, wonderful Leslie here. So the chorus words, should we just speak them all together? You've got them there in front of you. I think it's time to start, let's just speak them through once, read them through. Would you? Is that a yes? Absolutely. Was that a yes? Yes. And so it goes the chorus. Let's speak it all together. The choir will speak it, and then the first line. Here we go. Ami tu chervonu kalinu pigi memo. And again. Ami tu chervonu kalinu pigi memo. And the second line. A mi nashu slavnu Ukrainu. Hey, rozveselimo. One more time, the second line, all together. A mi nashu slavnu Ukrainu. Hey, rozveselimo. It's a very catchy tune, and in fact, we're going to now play it and sing that for everybody. Would you like to start the melody off, please? Sure. We'd love you to start listening to that on YouTube. And we'll all be singing it together again very soon. Well done to the choir. Well done, thank you. So our last song is going to be Sahaki Sahaki. Have we got time, do you think, or are we overdoing it a bit?
Yeah. We can just keep going.
Okay, I thought we were going to speed up. That's my speed up. So we're ready to keep moving. Okay, Sahaki Sahaki. Okay. I just wanted to say about the Sahaki Sahaki. Again, this is a poem by Chernikovsky, and he wrote it in Odessa in 1893. So we're back in the Ukraine, which I just think is just, amazing. And the music is a Russian folk song. So we're dealing, with this close relationship between Ukraine and Russia. So, here we are. The words are there, the English. Let's
It's a song about never losing confidence. I don't know if you've got the words there, but the song says, I've got dreams, and you may laugh at me because I've got these dreams of things I want to accomplish, but they're my dreams, and though you laugh at me, I'm not going to give up.
Right.
Just before we do the Elenu, we are in the Omer period, the period that leads us from Pesach to Shavuot, and so we must count the days as they pass. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotov v'tzivanu al sifarat ha'omer. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who has sanctified us with your commandments and commanded us to count the Omer. This evening we begin the 42nd day, making 6 weeks of the Omer. So 1 week left.
So we're going to go straight into the Kaddish now.
Okay.
Gosh, which day are we today? I can't remember. 27, 20. No, I'm talking about the day of the week. I can't remember the day of the month. 27. Okay, thank you. So we are going to say the Kaddish now, and we turn to page 524. 524. And because we had a Ukrainian theme tonight, we will remember all the people who have died in the war in Ukraine, on their way out of the country, in the country, and the soldiers on both sides who are victims of, on one side particularly, of the war. Do you have any name you would like to remember tonight?
Families in Texas. I was just
Oh gosh, yes, yeah, families in Texas. Yeah. Anyone else? So on the Shabbat, we remember Phil Lewis, the stepfather of Barbara Richards. Zichronam livracha, may their memory be a blessing, and we say together on page 524. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, be'alma divarach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon v'yomechon, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעלם לעלמי עלמיה, יתברר וישתבר ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלל שמי לקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ביחתה ושירתה, תוש בחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום. עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל בני אדם ואמרו אמן. Please be seated. So Vince and Rebecca, I leave you to conclude the service. There's probably a...
Just finished the Adon Olam, yeah?
Okay, and then you can do the final blessing.
I just would like to just thank the choir for all the hard work you've put in for this service. And it's been lovely to have so many people in the sanctuary with us today. I won't say what the numbers are. You're going to have to come and find out for yourself. And Vince, thank you so much for working, collaborating with me on this. And it's nice when we can really come up, explore a theme together. So with the Adon Olam now to finish, we are going to take a lively tune. Adon Olam Hashem Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'ed Nasa V'hefshar Kol Asai Melech Shemo Nikra Asai Melech Shemo Nikra V'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yeh b'tifara v'hu yeh b'tifara v'hu echad ve'en sheni להמשילו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית והוא ולא משרה ולא צבא המשרה והוא אלי והגואלי וצורב לי בעת יזרע והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת קורסי ביום אקרא מנת קורסי ביום אקרא בידו אפקיד רוחי בעת ישן ואירה ואמרוכי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא אירה אדוני לי ולא אירה. Shabbat Shalom everyone.
Rene has said we need to be blessed.
Oh.
We are all in need of blessing.
Okay, you're going to.
Stand.
Which one will you like?
We'll read this
We're going to do this one together.
Plus, not you. May God bless us with all good.
And keep us from all evil. So
may God
teach our heart the meaning of life and grant us knowledge of the infinite. May God reach out to us with tenderness and that we may have enduring peace. Shabbat Shalom. Amen. Thanks so much. Thank you. It was lovely. Thank you, Vince. Thanks so much. It was lovely.